So our look into Torah 108, Zevach Elohim Ruach Nishbarah, the Rebbe says, a famous verse from King David, that the real offering God wants is the broken heart. He's not looking to bring our favorite cow and sheep and goat down to the Mikdash quite yet. And there's a whole achloket again, by the way, amongst the poskim, whether the new Mikdash will have sacrifices or only one sacrifice, and that's it, or none. So the cruelty to animals issue, we're going to leave that aside for now. The real issue is what causes God to come back to us is when our heart is broken, when we need him, and we feel helpless. So the Rebbe begins, though, with an interesting idea. Hine yaduo, it's known, ki olah ba'al hiror lev, that the main sacrifices in the temple twice a day was about fixing the thoughts of the heart. Hiror lev is the deep thoughts of the heart. As it is written in the prophet Yechezkel, ha'oleh al ruchachem, that which comes upon your heart. That's the spirit. And he tells us, Hayinu she'oleh ba'a al hiror lev, and he makes the oleg means go up. But the olah offering is a play on those words, that he connects for us this idea of the heart and the going up. Lifting up the heart needs a sacrifice. And that's happening in the Mikdash twice a day. Shisham Mishkan HaRuach, because the tabernacle, if you will, of the heart, the tent of the heart, the meeting place called the heart is where the spirit dwells. Every organ in the human body is a mishkan, which literally means a tabernacle, or like I said, the tent of meeting. So every organ is a meeting place for a different spirit. And people connected with Chinese medicine will tell you this straight up, that you have the heart, you have the lungs, the kidneys, the gallbladder. All these organs, the liver, are carrying a different spirit that creates the profile or the array of different emotional levels in a human being. And he tells at a very interesting statement from the sages in Masechet Kiddushin, God does not join thought, thinking of doing something good, lema'aseh, to the actual action, the deed. You can have a good thought, it's a nice thing, but it hasn't come into the world truly until you do it, the good deed, the good thought, put it into action. We understand that, makes sense. But God is so great and he cares about us that if we even have a good thought, it will be as if he connects the good thought to having been done. Now that's a real gift. Because many a times we have good thoughts and we just don't get to them. Right? And the thoughts of even people who serve the idols and serve the constellations and serve the occult forces, even those people who are like, push God out the temple, outside. We have our own thing going on here. Even those people, God still considers their good thoughts as good deeds. Now, he doesn't say that they're off in a temple serving, obviously. But rather, the good deed or the good thought is he starts to pray, either from the book or from your own words. In the middle of the prayer or in the middle of his isolated meditations, no fail madrigato, he falls from his level and he starts thinking about his bank book and his travel book and his credit account. This is the idea of the thoughts, the external thoughts of even those who serve idols. And this is the most important clause. All our falls, and we have them, all of our falls comes from a damage to our faith. And the damage has not been fixed. And we walk around like robots, not knowing that our faith is not complete. And we might even think, oh, I have complete faith. I believe in God. You know, America defines itself, they did giant surveys. America defines itself as a religious country. 330 million people, give or take. How is that? How many religious people do you see? You know, it's not a good, you don't want to get involved in this calculation. But the simplest idea of being religious means you just believe there's a creator. Now, a lot of people don't want the label religious. They don't want to wear these boxes and this prayer shawl and these straps. But the Torah tells the Jew to put them on every day. They're your amulets. You're putting a divine name on your head. That can't be all bad, right? How much it penetrates your skull and that white matter in there. Let's not look too close, you know. But really, the damage to our faith is the beginning of the fall. So if we go backward from our fall and we look at it, oh, I did this, I did that, I said this, I said that. If you track it backwards, you will find some little place in my faith where I forgot God was there, or I forgot God is in control of the whole relationship and the whole reality. And I forgot that there are laws about doing this or doing that, or not doing this or that. Or I didn't forget and I just got overrode by desire or by fear. Because remember this one too, folks. All sins come from either exaggerated fear or exaggerated love, which is lust. When the faith is broken, well, we've turned our face away from God. So that's who are we blaming here, myself or God? We turn our face from him before he turns his face from us. Como shekatuv, nazoru achor. Go backwards. Vashem yiparach gam kein mastir panav mimenu. And then God hides his face too. The quality of kingship, the lowest sphera in the array of divine traits, kingship is compared to a mirror. God is constantly shining us back to us. Some people want to call it karma. Well, okay, no problem. There are other pathways to the infinite. And it's language and it's faith-based. But in Nimsa, we find that Yahu, Achur, Ba'achur, and then what happens if I turn my face from God and he turns his face from me, guess what? We are back to back. We are looking at opposite sides of the universe. And that's why we have to bring the sacrifice to the temple, to the altar of the heart. This idea of returning the face, our face, back to God's face, so he'll turn his face, his benevolent, merciful, infinite compassion back to us. And is to break our spirit within him and mitbayesh v'choshe batzmo, and to feel shame. This is positive shame. This is the good shame that saves the world. It is not the toxic shame that makes us want to leave the world. And we're to think to ourselves, oh, how I have fallen from heaven to earth. And I was at such a holy place not so long ago. And then I fell and I turned my face away from God. And I made myself back to back from the being that I always want to be face to face with. And he has compassion on himself. See, it's not just compassion for others, it's for ourselves. Feel sorry for yourself. Not bad self-pity, by the way. This is good also. Say, wow, Abraham, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you there? Abraham, this is not the way. This is not the Torah. Ki ein rachmanut gedolah mizo, and there's nothing greater than the rachmanut that we can have for ourselves. Now, rachmanut for ourselves is not saying, well, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can get away with this. No, that's not called mercy. That's called deceit, self-deceit. But to get from back to back to face, right? There has to be a separation, a split, a nisirah. And this nisirah, by the way, happens every Rosh Hashanah in a cosmic level, and it happens every day in the davening of the Siddur in Shacharit, the morning prayer. There is a moment of separation and coming back face to face. That's where we have the main part of the prayers in the morning is the Shema and the Amidah. Saying God is one and saying the 19 blessings. Now, so this Nisirah, you will feel a split. You will feel a separation. And this goes back to the first man. He went through all of this. Shenivaru du partzufim, that he was created with two faces. Achor ba'achor, back to back. Adam was first created back to back with his wife. Now, a lot of men and women have experienced that. But the goal, the work, is to come back face to face. And face to face means we're in communication. We'll reconnect ourselves, our eyes, our speech, even our breath, to come back, to communicate, to receive and give to each other. And this, my friends, is the real work. We want to bring the whole creation back face to face with God. We want to stop turning away from Him. And all the world and all the nations and all the other religions, whatever policies they put in place, it does not affect, it should not affect our one-on-one relationship to the Creator, because that's where it began and that's where it will end. And it won't end. If you get to the right place upstairs, it never ends. And it gets greater and greater and greater. We'll continue this Torah tomorrow, God willing. All the best.